Good Saturday afternoon to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights Consulting, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This video is brought to us by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at the large-scale 500 millibar weather pattern right now. Big trough across the extending from James Bay, Canada, Hudson Bay region into the Great Lakes. This trough of lower pressure has spun up a kind of a swath of snow that is now extended into the middle Atlantic states from originally from parts of the deep south. This is now shifting north into Vermont. We're going to be on its northern fringe. These are just lake effect, snow shower, and flurry activity associated with this deeper trough here. And out west you can see a large ridge of higher pressure that's turned the flow. We're getting a kind of a cross-polar flow. And looking at the large scale here, we can see colder temperatures in the minus 20 Celsius temperature range across Siberia, across the pole, into parts of northern Canada, and in toward the eastern United States. This is an influx of colder air that is crossing the pole, originating from Siberia. Looks like it is going to make it into the eastern U.S., cooling the temperatures, especially for the middle part of this week, as a couple weather systems will develop. The next shortwave trough will really boost that. That'll happen along about Tuesday into Tuesday night and Wednesday. It's good for some snow, kind of a late development, almost a Miller B-type nor'easter that then really intensifies as it moves into the Canadian Maritimes. The net effect is it's going to dislodge a lot of this colder air and pull it south and east, and that's going to be across the eastern seaboard and including the northeast United States for the middle to end of this week. And you can see temperature anomalies here with that slightly colder than normal temperature here. Even across the Arctic, though, it's warmer than normal. Of course, with Siberia, colder than normal. Some blocking, high latitude blocking is relatively weak, but it is causing Greenland to be relatively warm, as well as parts of Alaska. The coldest areas of some of that colder air is penetrated well deep into the Gulf of Mexico. Quick look at snow depth. You can see that it's across mainly eastern Canada. Some parts of western Canada have seen some Chinooks, and so they've melted out some of that snow. And the other thing that's interesting is this swath of snow on its northern fringes of the sort of mixed precipitation that has moved across parts of the southeast United States. Not a lot of snow depth you can see in the Sierra Nevada, nor really in the Rockies. Things have warmed up with that resilient ridge. A couple things that stand out is just how warm. You can see the Gulf Stream is really hugging the coast. It's well into where the Labrador Current comes in. And so sea surface temperatures are much above normal here, just off of the Grand Banks southeast of New England. You can also see what's going on here with the current La Nina. There we go. And looking at some of the temperatures here, you can see the temperatures are a little bit below zero here, and that that colder than normal aspect, or cold temperatures, are extended, of course, up into parts of north central Canada as well. So this is 12 noon. This would be 1 o'clock. You can see the fairly light snow advancing on the northern fringe of that system. This is 5 o'clock this evening. 6, 7, 8. Seems to be about the high tide mark. And then at residual retreat. And by midnight tonight, a little bit more leftovers kind of shoot in for a second burst. And that's going to be about it. So total snow accumulation. A little different from the European model, which has slightly higher amounts up in this general area here, but pretty close. Not a lot of snow to fall in the Champlain Valley and northwest corner of the state. Okay, so this is our developing weather system. We can see that it advances with some precipitation, kind of fringe effects. The area of low pressure tracks offshore and well to the southeast of Long Island and into the Canadian Maritimes. And then we're into a little bit of lake effect business with these 6-hourly shots. This is valid about 12Z. That'd be about 7 o'clock on Monday morning. And with a little ridge of higher pressure for what looks to squeeze in a fairly nice day on Monday. It might be precipitation free, but the caveat is it could be a couple flurries here and there from lake effect. However, we have this next system that's driving in, fairly potent in the upper air, the way it's looking right now, and it develops and Doesn't really get a good hook on Atlantic moisture. Develops a little bit too far to the east for us here, and so that moves on through. But it's probably good for something like 2 to 4, maybe 3 to 6 inches of snowfall in general. And then as it develops and strengthens, it departs into the Maritimes and a bit of a northwesterly flow. This is what's going to be affecting us with potentially some marginally strong gusty winds along the summits of the Green Mountains, mainly southern Vermont. We get into the night on Wednesday night and then Thursday morning. Thursday looks like we squeeze out actually a pretty decent day with lake effect to the west of us. And then the next weather system comes in, a shortwave trough that could spin up something else again, and something we'll have to watch here. This would be along about Friday of next week. And then heading into Saturday, we have this little baby here. Now this could be interesting with mixed precipitation types and potential for some wet snow, but it is an Alberta clipper system, fairly moisture starved, so not anticipating anything major here, but something we'll have to watch that's just beyond this period. GFS ensemble centered on Burlington, Vermont. You can see the least amount of snow here, and then that midweek storm or Tuesday into Wednesday, and then a drying trend thereafter. Stays all snow. It looks to be relatively dry. Not a tremendous amount of precipitation associated with it. WPC 7-day total QPF. Total amounts here of this green is about 1/2 inch. The blue is 1 inch amounts. So we're looking at roughly about a little over a 1/2 inch of total. This is over 7 days' time. And note how dry it is. Abnormally dry across this region with a moderate La Nina, expecting this to be the case here. Looking at the temperatures at 850 millibar levels, roughly a little higher than Mount Mansfield. The 0 to green line, this is all colder than we're looking at frozen precipitation, cold enough for snow, so no issues there. 32 here, this is again centered on Burlington, so you can see the decline in temperature here and a little bit of an uptick with that next weather system moving in, and then sharply colder. And this is going to be our Arctic chill here. In some indications, the Europeans been suggesting that it could go below 0 at night in a few spots, especially where the snow has accumulated, and a little better chances to see that colder temperature at night. And looking at some of the temperature anomalies, this is going into Monday. There's our coldest weather. This is going to be on Thursday morning. And those colder anomalies begin to push on out of the region. Note how warm it is in the plain states into the upper Midwest. This is about 10 days out now, and it looks like we warm back up again. A lot of that cold air gets pushed into Canada. So a little bit of a warming trend might indicate some mixed precipitations when this changes over beyond this period. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.